Hi everyone, welcome to Weekly Cooking with Becky. Do me a favor and head on over to Facebook and make sure that you come and join Living Low Carb with Becky, or feel free to subscribe to these videos and you'll never miss one. Without further ado, let's get started on our meal of the week. This week is just simply a ground beef casserole, but here's the deal. How many of you guys like a green bean casserole at Thanksgiving? The good old green bean casserole. I know I do, right? Okay. And how many of you guys like Hamburger Helper? Except that Hamburger Helper has noodles and green bean casserole has the crispy onions on top. How about we mix the two and have an amazing casserole? It will start on the skillet. I'm already grilling a pound of beef, and then I'm gonna drain off the fats. And it will finish in the oven. Actually, let me get the oven preheating. I do not have that yet. Preheating to 350. So what I'm gonna do right now, just to give you a heads up, I'm gonna finish browning the meat in the pan over here, and then I'm gonna come back on. I did not thaw it enough, so it's taking a little bit longer than I wanted, but I will come back on and show you all the next pieces. It finishes by baking, and then lastly we will plate up. But this is gonna be an amazing meal, a nice comforting meal for during your week. All right. Okay, so the meat is deliciously browned and it's been drained. I am adding 3 ounces of full fat cream cheese. We want that to melt all the way through. I will tell you that this recipe calls for a thing called Bragg's amino acids. I do not have any. If you are ever out of Bragg's amino acids, you can always substitute in a gluten-free soy sauce. This one has 3 grams of carbs versus the Bragg's, which has no, so my carb content will be up a little bit, not bad. I just didn't realize I didn't have it, but I wanted to let you know that. The other thing as I go over there is this pan can go into the oven. If you want to make this meal and you don't have one of those pans that are oven safe, you can always take a casserole dish or an 11x7 baking pan, put everything on there. At the end I'm going to top it with cheese at the very end, and then just put your baking pan in. So you can still make it, it would just be 2 dishes instead of 1. So here we are, and I'm just melting through the 3 ounces of cream cheese all the way through the meat. And it will not take you long, especially if your cream cheese is already at room temperature. Okay, so it's already just about done. Okay, it is looking good. Just to show you a little up close with it all melted through. All right, so to this, I am going to add, I want to make sure I do it in the right order. I'm going to first add some beef broth. You only use a half of a cup, so don't go buy a big thing, just buy a 16 ounce. Then if you need more, you can add it, and then when you're done, it was under $1. Okay, so we have half a cup of beef broth. This is going to make like the gravy portion of the recipe for us. Heavy whipping cream this, so we're gonna make a nice creamy gravy. We want a half a cup. This is where you get that gravy similar to what would be in a green bean casserole, except we're not gonna do onions. So we have those 2 in there. Then I am going to add, it says 2 teaspoons of Bragg's amino, but I am going to add about 1 to 1.5 of the soy sauce, because it does have a more pungent taste to it, so I don't need as much. Okay. A teaspoon of garlic powder. so good, guys. It looks so good. Half a teaspoon each of pink Himalayan sea salt. Always use pink Himalayan sea salt to get your electrolytes. And then a half a teaspoon of ground pepper. At this point, I'll come up to you. At this point, I'm going to bring it to a boil. Once it boils, I will reduce the heat, so I need to turn it up a little bit. I will reduce the heat and bring it down to a simmer for the rest of it. So right now I got to bring it to the boil, and then when it starts to thicken, get it to, and now this is where it's up to you. How thick of a gravy do you want it? I like mine more on the thick side. So once you get it kind of thick, reduce it to a simmer, and then I will meet you at the next step. Okay, at this point, it has reached the gravy consistency that I like. I will bring it and kind of show it to you. Nice, kind of creamy. Right now it's looking very casserole-like, which is what we want. So to this, we're gonna add 2 cans of drained cut green beans. If you like a crispier green bean, feel free to use fresh ones. However, cook them first, or they won't be all the way done when you go into the oven. So feel free, or if you like French style or the frozen steamables, do a bag of those. The recipe calls for cut, and that's similar to what you would use if you were making a green bean casserole. So I'm sticking normal, but feel free to use your favorite style of green beans. So now I'm going to stir it all around. And you'll see that I have my protein. I have my vegetable, 1 dish meal cooking here. I have the fats from the cheese and the heavy cream that are in here, and then I have the flavorings from the beef broth to help make the gravy, the onion powder, or sorry, garlic powder, my bad, salt, pepper, and the Bragg's, or like I said, you can always use soy sauce. If you don't have it, just go lower on the amount there a little bit. So right now, I'm setting it to look just like a green bean casserole would to go into an oven. Hamburger helpers always have cheese. So I've got the green beans in the gravy with the meat. But now I'm going to hamburger helperize it, and instead of noodles, we have the green beans, but we have the meat and the cream. All of that part matches. The hamburger helper has the cheese, so why don't we put that part on? This is 3/4 of a cup of mozzarella and 3/4 of a cup of cheddar mixed together, and I'm just going to sprinkle it on top. It's as easy as that, guys. So I'll show it to you right close. I'll give you a close-up when we're all done. It's now going to go into the oven and bake at 350. I want to make sure 25, yep, for 25 minutes. And then when it comes up, I will show you everything. So you can see it's a little bit of your green bean casserole, a little bit of your hamburger helper, blend it into one wonderful meal. And because you've got your protein, your veggies, and your fats, you're good to go. Throw some strawberries or any type of berry down at your meal, and you've got your fruit too. So let me go over some of the nutritional facts for you. It has a total of 8 servings, but the calorie count is low. So depending on your calories, or if you do macros, you can, however you fit it in, you might be able to squeeze out 2 servings because of the calorie count for those that are counting calories. Okay, so it's 281 calories for 1/8 of that. Think about slicing it like pizza when you're done and serving up yourself 1 slice of pizza's worth, and that would be your meal. So that's 281 calories. 4 carbohydrates total. There is 1 fiber, so that brings it down to 3. So it's a 3 net carbohydrate meal. 18 grams of protein, good potassium, good low on iron, only 1.5 on iron, but it's got good protein, 20 grams of your total fat. So you've got your fats, your protein, low on net carbs, and only 281 calories. So that's not bad. So like I said, for 281 calories, that's not even enough for a meal. So if you wanted to eat 1.5 to 2 servings, depending on how many calories and or net carbs you have left, feel free to do so. And to go over it again, I took a pound of ground beef and I browned it and drained the beef. I used a low fat because I'm low carb. If you're keto, you would definitely want a higher fat one because you're and you'll probably want to leave a little bit of fat in the pan. I drained it all and used a 95% lean beef. 3 ounces, once it's browned and drained, 3 ounces of cream cheese went in. You have to put that one in first because otherwise it'll lump on you. You get it mixed all the way around. Added to that was a 1/2 cup of beef broth, a 1/2 cup of heavy cream, 2 teaspoons of Bragg's amino, or a little over for the soy sauce, garlic powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Bring it to a boil and then reduce heat to about medium high. Let it get as thick as you like. Okay, I like mine on the thick side, so if that part's a little bit different, then basically go down to a simmer or turn it off, because all you have to do then is add in 2 cans of cut green beans. Make sure they're rinsed. Top it with 3/4 cup each, so 1.5 cups total. Guys, if you don't like this cheese and you wanted to use 1.5 cups of Colby Jack, because that's a blend of 2 cheeses, or if you like sharp cheddar more than regular cheddar, use a cheese that you know you're gonna like. Okay, but you need a total of 1.5 cups. I did 3/4 cups of mozzarella, 3/4 cups of cheddar, baking at 350 for 25 minutes, and we'll be back to plate up. All right, so I have taken the skillet out. I have it down here to show you guys, and I just have to say, like, it's taken everything in me to let it cool just enough to serve it. It looks so good. Everyone, take a look at this hamburger casserole that could also work as a green bean casserole. So hamburger helper, green bean, all in one. It looks amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and scoop it into a bowl, only because I need to run the dishwasher. But even scooping it into the bowl, just look at that. Absolutely amazing. So I totally encourage you guys to try this recipe. Just click on the name of the recipe. The description box will drop down below, and then you can print it and enjoy. It's delicious, and I'll see you next time on Weekly Cooking with Becky. Bye.